This dog was desperate when his owner left. After 15 years of loyalty, the old dog was abandoned. The neighbors found the dog carelessly thrown aside, still chained. The owner didn't even grant him freedom. The dog's face was exhausted and full of fatigue. It looked like he was still choking on something. The neighbors gave him food and water. They urged us to come quickly to take the dog away. When I arrived, there was only the dog. He was lying sadly in his wooden kennel. I wondered how many years the dog had been chained there. I don't know why the owner left this dog behind. They moved to a larger, more spacious house. They even bragged about their new home to the neighbors. I asked for their contact information to reach them. But no one answered the phone, and it seemed like they were ignoring me. We fed and watered him before the trip. The dog was very thirsty and drank a lot of water. Why didn't they release him before they left? He was sad and didn't want to leave that place. That place was all he had ever known. We stayed for a while, then left together. We walked together to the parking lot. He was very curious and interested in everything. It was as if it was his first time stepping out. Had he been chained there for all 15 years? His face looked different than it had when he was in the kennel. I could see the sadness and sorrow melting away. It was as if he thought I was taking him for a walk. He didn't know this trip would change his life forever. He would never see his owner again. What he once knew would be gone forever. After that, we made a safe trip to the veterinarian. The doctors conducted all the necessary examinations. They did an ultrasound and x-rays. The tests showed he was positive for stage 2 heartworm disease. But the x-ray results revealed even worse news. His lungs were in very bad shape. It seemed about 1/3 of his lungs had disappeared. He wasn't healthy enough for surgery. He had a tumor in his lung. We had to transfer him to a bigger veterinary hospital. I hoped they would find a way to save him. The doctors repeated all the tests from the beginning. They found even more damaging information. There was no air in the rear and middle parts of his lungs. He wasn't choking as we had thought. He was struggling to breathe, and his lungs were failing. He was in pain. An oxygen neck hood was designed for him, which helped him breathe more easily. It wasn't until the evening that he was finally able to sleep. It had been a long day with us. We reported his situation to the authorities. We encouraged him to eat little by little. He needed to prepare for the long journey ahead. The doctor said he had lung cancer. In fact, our time with him was running out. His condition was a little better than the day before. He wandered around the veterinary clinic for a long time. At that time, his body was still tired and weak. He wanted to see the beautiful world. He didn't want to miss a single beautiful moment. It turned out his family already knew about the cancer. They had intentionally left the dog in the empty house. The dog faced the disease alone. If it weren't for the neighbors, I cried when I heard what they had done to him. Is this what he got in return for 15 years of loyalty? They simply didn't want to pay the medical bills. At the very least, they should have given him his freedom. They knew exactly what would happen to the dog. We learned his name was Dong Yuri. He was such a sweet and affectionate dog. At that time, he tried very hard to eat. It gave him more strength for the long journey ahead. He loved the smell of flowers. Those were the days when we felt happiness and hope. Then his body temperature rose to 39.5 degrees Celsius. The fever became more frequent and lasted longer. We didn't expect his condition to worsen so quickly. He had difficulty breathing and needed assistance. I can't remember how many times I cried. I gave him his favorite sweet potato chicken, but he couldn't eat either. He could only sip a little water. After 5 days, we said goodbye. He had a long sleep. I'm sure he's smiling at us now. I will always remember you, Dong Yuri.